Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Cho Thoughts podcast. Of course, I'm the Big Cho. The lovely Samantha's with me. Um, so Sam's calling my son on the television.
I saw Xander. I kid you not. I felt so horrible because I had just arrived at my client's house and it was a little late. It was probably about like quarter after 6 at this point. And I just like sat down on the couch and my family based partner is next to me. He's sitting there and he's talking and he's like trying to wrap things up and he's like, "Oh, when is the IEP meeting?" And he's like talking to, the mom and the dad's over here and they're talking and the dad's like, "Well, I don't really think that you need to come to the IEP because we have an educational coordinator with us." And all of a sudden, like I'm watching the news and I see Xander come up. And I'm like, and they didn't like interview him, but they were like zooming in on him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was like, wait, what? And I didn't hear anything. And I like immediately, like everything around me just stopped. Okay. And I was like so glued to the TV. And all of a sudden I was like, my partner's going, "Sam, Sam." And I was like, "Yeah, what?" He's like, "Educational advocate, IEP meeting. You going?" And I was like, "Wait, what? What about an IEP? What about?" And he's like, "You okay?" I was like, "No, that's my friend's son." And I kid you not, everybody stopped and they're like, "Well, we got 5 minutes. We can watch
Right?
it." So yeah, they showed they Fox Chapel High School and they showed Jefferson Hills High School, and they were talking about how they're both bringing bocce back and that they're doing it for Special Olympics and children with IDD so that they can help strengthen teamwork. A lot of it is so that they feel more involved and not as isolated, and really so that they can really feel like they're part of the community and really get involved. And we just like all of us like just sat there watching in awe as like we just kept seeing Xander and I was like, "Oh my god."
it's been amazing because this is our first year doing it. And like I said before in a previous podcast where it's like me and his mom didn't know bocce really from a lick. Like we had a general like kind of consensus and idea of it. Like I was like, oh, okay, this is what old Italian men would play in Bloomfield up here in
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh. Now I'm like, I'm so into it where it's like Ashley was learning slang terms where it was like the ball has to like kiss the other one, and I was like, what? I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, what the hell are we doing? Like, but we're so invested in it, and like just watching the kids and their interaction with it, and the like how every different one is like a team captain, every different
Mm-hmm.
match is a team captain, and just the kids how they rally behind each other. Like it, I don't know, it's, I mean, when we started doing the unified track, that was really cool because like it was great to see Xander in a sport, trying athletics, getting out there. And between Ashley and I, we never thought that was possible. So for that challenge to be like broken, and then it was like, hey, he could do a winter sport, he could do bocce. And the first thing I was like, what the fuck is bocce? And then like I had to remember what bocce is. Like growing up in Lawrenceville, I know what it is. So then as like he's doing it, and then like I'm watching the other kids that he goes to school with, and just the support that they were getting from it, it's wonderful. It's wonderful about like the team unity, like the involvement from all the
Mm-hmm.
kids, the coaches, the excitement the kids get over just throwing the ball, like just trying to be part of it. Just like even like how we get anxious, like when they get
Mm-hmm.
close to like the Pauline, I believe it's Pauline or Ashley will correct me. She watches the show, so she'll get me. But um as it gets closer to that, like there's excitement and all the kids like start stimming and they get like
Mm-hmm.
really into it. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking incredible. Like I
Yeah.
love it. And then they hear us, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's amazing. Like I'm not gonna lie, when we did our like away games, it was quiet. Like if I was watching golf on television, quiet, like super quiet during these bocce matches. And I was like, where's like the excitement, like the pageantry,
Mhm.
like some kind of fun. And then we did one at Gateway High School, and that was cool because they came out to like entrance music, and I was like, oh, we're like WWE stepping it up, like, okay, we're doing this. And then like we would sit there, and you'd be in the bleachers, and they would have two matches, like the two matches going side by side, but you can literally see in front of you both matches.
Mhm.
Everywhere else, you see one in front of you and one behind it. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's better because, and I could see where he's at, and if he switches to the next, like the next set, he'd be on the other side. That all changed this week when we went to Fox Chapel. Like when we were home for the final two games,
Mhm.
it was incredible. I will shout out Fox Chapel High School for everything they've ever done for my son, for our son, for mine and Ashley's son. Everything they do is for those kids. Like I love
Mhm.
it because they had somebody on commentary. They were like announcing them as they were like rolling, like getting them amped up. And that was great because the kids were loving it. Ashley and Xander made signs, and we had them up yesterday. That's the photo in
Mhm.
my Facebook. Those are Ashley's signs. The kids are using for at the end,
Yeah.
and then like we were every time Xander got up, we would sit there with a Xander sign and wave it, and then Ashley bought pom poms that are black and red. Like we made Xander the most comfortable we've ever made him,
Mhm.
and just it was probably the home crowd reaction. Those kids were going nuts. Like they just it was very like it was very Pittsburgh-ish. Like
Yeah.
it's a home game. It's going nuts, and those kids, like their bocce season ended this week, but they did incredible. I shout out to all those kids that participated. Now they get a little bit of a break, and then of course we'll be going into unified track. But
Mhm.
I did not know that my little sports star was a TV star today.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna.
Completely shocked me because I've been seeing a lot of like the polar plunge, and that's been highlighted a lot on the news. I forgot. I think it was actually St. Clair, Upper St. Clair School did it over
Yeah.
the weekend, like something like that. And I've been waiting to see because I've been seeing so much bocce and polar plunge, and I'm like, where the fuck is Xander? Like, come on! And then it took me by utter surprise when they like. So I was like, did it? I was like, wait, did I see that for real? Like, really?
There he is. Holy shit. But yeah, like we'll have to like if I get the link or something, I will put it on a social or put it on here. Um, but yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Like it just I just love. I've been a part of this community 17 years now.
Hmm.
Probably like maybe going on like 14. But 14, 13. Again, my fact checker will fact check me. Yeah. But being in this for over 10 years will do that. It's it's such a great community. People are
Yeah.
nice. The parents are lovely. The kids are out of this world. Like it's just every little part of it, from unified sports, unified flag football, to like his mom just took him to a dance. It was like a winter dance, and it
Hmm.
wasn't part of school. It was just
Yeah.
part of like the cares program or something. And he just that on top of that, then he has his own dances at school, and then he does the autism walks. Like they're so that community is so great. I
Yeah.
love every minute of it. I love being a part of it. And I
Hmm.
honestly, I don't say the word a lot, but I'm very blessed that we are a part of this community. Like
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And I couldn't I if you asked me if I would change it, never. No way. There's no way in hell. This is what I think this is the kid I was meant to parent,
Yeah.
believe me. Because I know other people have had their challenges and whatnot, and no, I believe this is the kid that me and his mother were supposed to parent for sure.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna have to look at that clip because now he's a superstar.
Yeah.
He'll
I'll see
take
if
this.
I can find it because, like I said, I don't remember what channel she was watching. I, I don't know. I want to say it was CBS, but like I said, I don't know what channel she was watching. All I know is that I had just sat down and she was watching the news, and that's what was on, and I was like, oh my
I mean,
god.
I'll give it a look and see what I find. I mean, what is there? Only three here.
Yeah.
Four. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'll find it. But that is one way to definitely start this week for sure. Um, but apparently, I'm a little bit behind the time. Apparently, the groundhog, did he see the shadow? No, I see a shadow.
No, he did not see his damn shadow. Did he? Which is
Oh,
the one
see,
that gives you 6 weeks? Is it where he sees a shadow? He did see a
I
shadow. Yes, he saw a shadow. That's it. That old furry motherfucker.
I don't know, but like apparently he's in the midst of bringing like a winter storm again, or like some
Yeah.
kind
No,
of
no.
freezing
Look,
rain.
he's a cute motherfucker, okay? I would love to own one as a pet. But he needs to 3 years in a row, he did not see his shadow, and look what happened. We had
Right?
nice, mild winters. Now all of a sudden he goes and he sees his motherfucker shadow, and look what we're getting on tomorrow, tonight into
I'm
tomorrow.
telling you, oh yeah. Apparently, like this comes out on Friday, but we're recording on a Wednesday this week, and tomorrow, which would have been Thursday, apparently there's some kind of snow, freezing rain. Basically, you shouldn't go outside.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
But I mean, this is also Pittsburgh, where it might be 60 in the middle of the fucking day or something, or it doesn't really, or it
I mean,
passes.
it was 65 degrees the other day, was it not?
It was. It was 65 degrees the other day, and I remember I got out the car after we got home, and I looked at Xander and I was like, "Are you warm?" And he was like, "A little," because he has his big winter coat on. And then next thing you know, he's like zipping it, taking it off, and like I was like, "You can unzip it." I was like, "Don't be taking that all the way off." He's
Hmm.
like, "It's still like breezy." Like,
Yeah.
no. And then the next day, I was like, "Well, that was short lived."
Yes.
It was. We flew too close to the sun. It was like, "No, you're good. No, you thought, but no."
Even my mom, because my mom suffers from bipolar depression, right?
Right.
And my mom has her ups and her downs, and she's gotten it under control, but she still has her days. And my mom like loves dark humor is her way to get through it. So my mom was like, "Oh, it's so gorgeous out," and I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, it's like me. It's having a manic day. We'll see the depression kick in tomorrow.
But with all due respect to your mom, she wasn't fucking lying. Like literally the next day, it was like, yeah, that was short fucking lived. Oh my god. Like, yeah, it was like the glimpse of hope. Like
Hmm.
maybe Phil could be a liar, and then it was like, no, shut the damn door.
Right?
You didn't think so.
It's like
Um,
just a little tease.
yeah, right. Like just a little bit, whatever. Um, if I'm asked one more time about this weekend, obviously is the Super Bowl.
Nope, nope. Okay. It is not Super Bowl for me. I could give two shits too. Okay, excited. I do. I just don't want the Eagles to win. But I won't even be watching it. You know why? I'll be watching Puppy Bowl.
There are
That's
people
my
that do
shit.
that, but I mean, I have no intentions. I really don't. I mean, I kind of want the Eagles to win. I think everybody in America except Kansas City Chiefs fans wants Philly to win. But
No, no.
I'm not going to sit there and watch it. Oh, what about the commercials? Yo, the next day I could watch them.
Right?
Yeah, like
Or what about the halftime show? I could buy his album if I really wanted it.
yeah,
Like,
like if I really want to listen to Kendrick Lamar, I'll literally put it on in the car on the way to work,
mhm,
or put it in the truck when I'm driving. I don't need to hear "Not Like Us" for the 3,644th time.
right?
I've heard it everywhere already. I got it.
Hmm.
The guy has, I think, four or five Grammys off of it now. Yeah, I was like, I didn't even get a chance to post up the questions this week, but it was like, did you watch the Grammys? No, no, I didn't.
I didn't, but I was on the phone with my best friend yesterday talking about this. And she was just like, come on. She's like, they shouldn't even gotten a Grammy. She was like, first of all, that was not a country album. And she's talking about Beyonce. She's like, that was not a country album, you know? She's like, and we all know that Jay-Z bought her way to the Grammy. And then she just like went off. She was like, that bitch used to be good, but Queen Bee ain't no queen no more.
It's it's upsetting because you will get a lot of folks that love Beyonce and say that, well, because she is an African American, blah. I was like, I don't want to hear that. I'm not hearing
Mm-mm.
that no more, because like you have great African American country artists that are in there.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple. Which one is like, of course, everybody loves Shabuzi because that song is a real good, catchy one. There's Jimmy Allen. There's, oh man, I have a couple. I mean, Darius Rucker, for God's sakes, is, I
Yeah, I
mean,
was going to say Kill Switch Engage, Howard Jones,
yeah,
who is
like,
now in, what is it? Oh, I forgot his new band. But yeah.
but yeah, like, there's even female African American artists like Mickey Guyton. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, they're all country artists. You're telling me that, like, that's not country to me. Like Beyonce's country album isn't country to me.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, is it all right? Not really. I don't. I
No.
don't. Yeah. Is there better albums than hers? Yeah, Post Malone's country album was way better.
Mm-hmm.
There, plenty. Anything Luke, we could be here forever. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's why I won't watch the Grammys.
Yeah, that's like because we got onto the topic because her favorite artist, Chris Brown, finally won a Grammy, right? And she said it. She's like, listen, I waited years for this to happen, but out of all these years and watching how it has slowly become so rigged and faked, she's like, I'm disappointed that he got a Grammy. I feel bad that he got a Grammy because, like, she's like, I kind of take it as out of all these years, they didn't value his actual true music and they just were like, here, you finally deserve one because it's been long enough.
Yeah, like a pity party.
Yeah.
There was, if I recall, there was an interview with Sway with Eminem, and Eminem has vowed to never ever go back to the Grammys because of how the Grammys
Mm-hmm.
is. Like he's
Yep.
like, you sit there, you make me come there, you give me like hope, you give me all this, and fucking Lottie Dottie or whoever wins, somebody we don't even know wins
Mm-hmm.
a fucking Grammy, and then he was like,
Yeah.
don't ever fucking ask me to come back there ever again.
Yeah.
He
And
was
I
like,
feel
would
him
never.
because like the Grammy will like cherry pick who they feel is music. You know, they do like rock album of the year or something like that. But like they hardly ever mention metal. And it like and then 90% of the time, I'd say 98% of the time, you will not see the rock or the metal category be announced on live television.
Really? I mean, it's been
Yeah.
so long since I've watched the Grammys.
Yeah. Like Ghost won best metal performance, and this was like 2 or 3 years, no, about 4 years ago now, right? And the only way I got to see it was behind the scenes when it was posted on Facebook. They did not show it on the live Grammys.
You know what that used to remind me of is when you used to watch the Grammys and they would do like a runoff of like this
Mm-hmm.
this or songwriter of the year, metal album, or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's that bullshit. Like, just try
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy the Grammys. Like, don't highlight it. Like,
Yeah.
here you are. Here's blah blah blah. Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
you're what is it? You're just catering to the masses. That's all you're
Right.
really doing. So it's like if I want to waste my time, I'd rather get caught up in like um me and Brandy watched a Nickelback documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched this?
No.
It's
I
on
was
Netflix.
asked, there was a thing going around. I don't know if you saw this, but it was who is better, Creed or Nickelback?
Oh, we don't have that much time in this podcast. Like,
I
we could be here for a while.
was like, why can't I choose both?
But it was like, it's if you haven't seen it, it's like Nickelback, like love them to hate them or something like that, or love them or hate them. And it's just like how people love them, or they're like just have this biased opinion that they hate them, and they're trying to figure out why people hate Nickelback. Like, what's the reason? What is
Mm-hmm.
this? And it's like, oh, well, they were like, they're too pop, they're too mainstream. And then you sit there and start getting all their accolades, like Ryan Reynolds broke down. And yeah, that fucking band's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I own every album of theirs. I don't give a
Yeah,
rat's ass. People are like, you got Nickelback? Oh, it's on my playlist for a reason. Yes.
yeah. Like when we got them watching that documentary, I was like, I mean, I have Nickelback shit in my phone. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I mean, I'm never ashamed to admit that I listen to Nickelback,
Yeah.
but like, I just don't understand why the like, oh fuck, you listen to Nickelback.
I feel like it's very equivalent to the now of why people hate Taylor Swift.
Yeah, we could do that, or honestly, even Creed,
Yeah, right? Well, it's Creed was good.
because they'll sit there and be like, they'll talk so much shit, but then as soon as that song be like, hold me now, I'll be like,
Right?
I thought you just hated them. You just hated them. Like, um, I had a buddy of mine I used to work with. He would talk shit on Nickelback. Prime example. I'm not gonna call you out because I know you watch this podcast, but he would sit there and he would talk shit, but if we'd be out and about or get like drinks after work or something, and say how you remind me would come on, he would
Hmm.
sing it, like verbatim, word for word, and then I would just look at him and be like, "You motherfucker!"
Hmm.
Like he was like, "Oh well, you can't go wrong. This one's a good one." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you hate them, you wouldn't be singing it the way you are."
Exactly.
You
It's
know?
like one of those, what is it? Oh my God, I'm like blanking on this. But do you remember where people were like, what is like a dirty, I don't want to say it's like a little secret or something like that. A guilty pleasure. That's it. It's like a guilty pleasure. You don't want to own up to the fact that you like Creator and Nickelback, but you're secretly rocking out to them.
Right. And what's funny is one night one night we were actually afternoon, and he played it. This
Hmm.
is how you remind me. And I was like, all right. I was like, you also know that the WWE used Nickelback's one song for the start of Monday Night Raw. Like, we're going
Hmm.
on tonight. He was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, yeah, and you watch wrestling. So guess what? I think you like Nickelback.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I think you like Nickelback.
Well, that's like how I feel about Ghosts, because you know how many people are like, "Oh my God, why do you like Ghosts?" Like they're like Scooby Doo of the rock band, and I'm like, or the rock or the metal world. They're Scooby Doo of the metal world, and I'm like, why do you guys hate what other people love? Like it's not bothering you, so don't listen to them. Like like okay, so my new family based partner he's older than me. He doesn't really listen. He's more into the rap, and so he doesn't listen to metal.
And he
And
doesn't have a
today
fucking
I was,
clue what he's doing.
I know, right?
Just transpiring off the past two podcasts. I'm like, God, get it together.
Right? So
Carry
like
on.
I was so fucking excited because this morning I wake up and the first thing I like to do is like I like to take my time getting up in the morning. All right. And so I'll scroll through Facebook and the first thing that popped up said that Black Sabbath is coming back for a reunion, but I forgot where it's gonna be. I don't think it's in the US, but they're coming back for one final tour. And like Metallica is going to be there, Slayer is going to be opening for them, and so is Ghost. And I was like, fuck yeah. And it's happening July 5th. So I was like all excited, and it didn't even occur to me where they put V, and then it said V July 5th. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it occurred to mine. That's the new Papa. Papa the 5th is coming on July 5th.
But see,
So
you're
we'll
getting
have a new
excited.
Papa, guys. I am like fucking excited for this shit.
Yeah. See, but that's cool. Like that's like again, that's like your passion.
Hmm.
Like that's how like me and Eric would get excited about like a new Eminem album, where somebody randomly drops it you haven't heard from in fucking forever, or you'll go like, they dropped what?
Yeah.
Like when I heard Post Malone drop a country album, I was like, wait a minute, all right. And then I listened, I was like, yo, that shit's dope. Like, it's, I swear, like music can really excite you if you really have enough
Hmm.
attention into it. So
Well,
to
that's
see
why
a
I'm saying,
reaction,
Paul.
that just makes
You
sense.
you're gonna have to take Brandy to a Ghost concert. It's just you're gonna have to, because this is Papa Five who's coming out. He's starting out July 5th. Now, every Ghost concert this year, you cannot have cell phones at, because Tobias, who is the lead singer, okay, wants everybody. He doesn't want the Papa Five revealed through social media. He wants it so that everybody can see the new
So
Papa
they
for the first time.
experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's
So
the thing. Here. I have an idea. I have an
I'll
idea.
take her. You just go do your own thing. I'll take her.
That's my girl. Thank you. This is the part where I will not contribute. I try so hard with her. I love her to death. I will do anything for that woman. But like sometimes we'll get in the car and I am I don't mind like I don't mind like certain metal bands and whatnot. If I can't fucking hear it,
But
I
you can
don't.
hear Ghost.
But I mean, like to a point, like to a point. Like I mean, there are some where like um, I forget what I sent her an "I Prevail" song, and first she was excited because I sent it to her because like if I didn't know who the fuck they were, I'm sorry, low under the radar. I'm throwing shots. I
Yeah.
know some shit. Um, but I'll hear a song and then all of a sudden the song will be great. Fucking fantastic. And
Mhm.
then there's that whole I call it the metal breakdown where they just scream into it and I'm just going, we were so fucking close. We were so close. Where I don't want to eat. Why are you eating the microphone? Why?
That's what my mother says. She's always like, I don't understand how you can listen to this. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, they're eating the microphone. You can't understand what they're. And I'm like, but that's what's like, I can see where you're coming from. I see where my mom's coming from, because like metal really is it's not everyone's cup of tea. It is a distinct taste. Like
Correct.
you really have to really, like, I don't want to say appreciate it, but you do have to appreciate it, because like it really isn't about the lyrics. Like sometimes if it's not like this heavy death grunge metal, like, and you really do understand the lyrics, like it can really touch your soul. It could really
Oh
get
yeah.
to you and be like, holy fuck. But like the ones that you're talking about, the one that my mom's talking about, those are the ones where I'm really pissed off and I'll crank that shit, because you know what? Heavy metal soothes an angry soul.
I've uh I've experienced this with some people lately. So I mean I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like but I like but then again, like that deters to when I went and saw my buddy play.
Hmm.
I knew what I signed up for. Like as
Yeah.
soon as he was like, "We're like a death metal band," and I was like, "Fuck me," like I did but it's my boy, so I was like,
Hmm.
"All right, cool." And then after we got done, and I'm looking at Brandy, and Brandy's like,
Yes.
"Fucking
Because
zone." I
like
was
I said,
like,
it's
"All
not
right."
about the lyrics. Like when you like something goes, and I remember they were talking about. Like, don't quote me on this, but it was science. Like science did like all this research on it, and they said that it's like when you really like are into that metal, it actually it actually calms a part of your brain. Like your brain is set so that it like it's an emotional regulation. It helps actually calm you down. And it's like the weirdest thing ever, because there are people out there who are like, how do you stay calm to this? This is nonsense. And I'm like, I can't explain it, because that's it. Like if I am extremely angry, all I got to do is put my earbuds in, crank up that shit, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good.
And
But if
then you
you
don't hear
like
a fucking word that anybody says.
but like yeah, you can't, but like for me it's like I'm not focusing on the words, I'm focusing on the instruments, I'm focusing on the sound, on the vibrations, the rhythm. Like it's
Right.
everything but the words, and I think that's what like my brain registers and helps soothe, compared to, I mean, like Ghost doesn't get that heavy. It's not like,
No, it's not crazy.
no, and you can hear their lyrics. But what I
Yeah.
like about Ghost is that, so they are a Swedish rock band,
Yeah.
and Tobias is very intelligent. Like, oh my God, his IQ is insane. But he's very actively involved in politics in the United States. And so a lot of his songs are correlate with what's going on in the United States. Even though
Right.
he doesn't live here, he still like produces music and has fans, and he's just like, what the fuck is America doing? And so he basically incorporates that into his songs, where it's like the song Rats. If you've ever listened to the song Rats, it's about how the government is trying to control you, how the government are the dirty rats that no matter how hard you try to escape from them, there they are. They're all around like sewer rats.
Yeah.
And So you really have to correlate to see what he's talking about. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard the song Monstrous Clock. That's about having an orgy. It's fucking greatest.
That's just that was like we're going here, and it was like, well, no.
Uh-huh. So like the way he says it though, the way he does it, like Mary on a cross isn't religious at all. It's about marijuana. But nobody will get that.
I mean, at least that that's cool too. I like bands that do that as well, where
Uh-huh.
it's like, hey, the title of this track is what, like Tool, Hooker with a Penis,
Yeah.
and then you're like listening to it, and like it doesn't. Well, it kind of does in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
but like it touches on it. But then you get other ones from them where you're just like, that has nothing to do with that.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like that too because you go into that with that mentality that, hey, we're going to be talking about like this. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, we're just talking about fucking weed? All right.
Yep. But like that's what's great about Ghost, because if you don't know their style and you don't know like the format that he's going, and you just kind of, I mean, which is nothing wrong. Like I know a lot of times I'll be just jamming out to a good band, like, but you really have to understand their format, and you have to understand Tobias and the way he thinks in order to understand the songs and where he's going with it. They all tell a story too. So
I mean,
even though he's
I like a
like the
good
Scooby
storyteller.
Doo, you what?
I said I like a good storyteller.
Yeah. And the thing that I love about it is like, so my younger sister will attest to this. Like she fucking hates me for this. She really does. So every time I go home, I'm like, so what Ghost does is they tell a story about the lead singer who is, so Tobias Forge is he's the creator of Ghost. So what I really love about that is like when he originally started, he was in a very tiny little band. Like he was performing in Sweden, and then he got his first gig here in America. And he was not expecting it to take off. He was just like, it is what it is, and we'll see where it goes. And then all of a sudden it blew up in America. And he was like, holy fuck. So what he then did was he started creating a storyline, right? And so every time he comes out with a new album, there is a new Papa. And there's always a story as to how that Papa came about. And so what he does is he has a YouTube channel where he will create what's known as chapters. And every time up until the new album comes up, there's a chapter that to add to the storyline as to how what's going on with this Papa. And a lot of times, like he'll add in those chapters to announce tour dates, or he'll announce like to show the new Papa. So we'll see who the new Papa is. We'll know what he looks like, but he still wants it to be that fun experience for everyone. So he has these storylines that are cool. So then like they came out with a movie last year. And that movie, like, literally had all the chapters up until then, and then it was a live performance, and then at the very end, he added a chapter to it. And
That's the
everybody
one
was,
you were so excited about.
yes! I was like, oh my God! And so now I know that there's definitely going to be a new Papa and a new album.
But now you're like, shit, I just got this, and now I got to get another one. You're going to add the bonus content to this shit? But I spent money on this shit. Now you're going to continue it?
I
Fuckers.
forced my younger sister to watch the chapters with me on YouTube so that she's caught up, and she'll sit there like she'd be like, do you know what Samantha made me do? And I'd be like, tell him everything you know about Papa. And she'll sit there and she'd be like, it's an old guy, guys. It's an old fucking guy.
It's an old guy. No, come on. No, that's about it. Just
Right?
oh my God. I just like how your sister breaks shit down like me. Like it's just an old man.
Yeah.
So, what's the big deal about him? Nothing.
She's like, it's an old man who's a spirit, who hasn't moved on, who that's it. He just talks to everybody. It's an old dead guy.
Just an old dead guy. That's it. It's an old dead guy. What's the fascination with him? I don't know, but it's a fucking hit.
I was telling, it's like, so I was like, over Christmas, I was spending time with like her, and we were in her living room, and she was like, okay, fine, we can watch the new Ghost movie, because of course I have it on DVD, right?
Right.
And she's like, all right. So I started falling asleep during it, and all of a sudden she like walked up to me, took a pillow, and whacked me with it. I go, what was that? She's like, if you're going to sit here and force me to watch your shit, you're going to watch it with me.
Right.
I have to brush my teeth.
Go ahead. I was like, I had to be interrupted for a second. It was like daddy duty. He's like, excuse me, I have to brush my teeth and I have to go to bed. Y'all are making a ruckus. I will shut this shit the fuck down. Okay. You understand
Right?
who I am? I'm a TV star, bocce player, unified fucking athlete. I got shit to do. All right.
I
Excuse me.
am the celebrity.
I am the fucking celebrity. All right. I'll turn it. Why you do a podcast about me? I kind of am. Like, I was like, I hype you up, but yeah, like, I mean, that's good marketing too. Is the storytelling? Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Let me know how it goes with Brandy.
Well, I gotta first figure out what's going on because apparently, like, I'm supposed to be going home the week that Ghost is coming here.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're probably like son of a bitch.
I was like, I'm sitting there being, I was like, do I just like push back my vacation and wait until the day after I go see them here in Pittsburgh? Because I'm going to see them. I already got tickets for Madison Square Garden on the 22nd, but they're
Right.
coming the 19th. So I was like, do I wait it out? What do I do?
Yeah. I mean, because the potential to see them twice is like it's fucking right there. So I was like,
All right.
So it's
But
like a couple weeks later, and you're like, hey, guess what? I got tickets to both shows.
see, and this is where I was just like, so okay, so years ago when I moved here, I was a nanny, right? That's like the reason I came here. And um, I know you know this, and quite a few other people know it. Like, I was a nanny for the writer, the author of Pretty Little Liars, right?
Yeah.
And so,
You're good.
I have to brush my teeth.
Oh, okay, superstar. You're off the bed.
And I'll see you in the morning.
Always.
um,
Continue, Miss Sam.
so I'm sorry. I just like how he's like, I brush my teeth.
Yeah, he just lets me know, and then he's like, okay, viewers, peace out. I got shit to do.
Right?
My exit stage left. I just want to let my dad know I did my nightly routine. Right? Sorry to interrupt. This is my time.
So yeah, so over the years, even after I stopped nannying for her, like, we remained in contact. I still continued to babysit for her. And of course, over the years, as her kids got older, we kind of just, it's not like I don't see her or talk to her. Like, she'll still reach out asking how I'm doing. I still dog sit for her,
Right.
things of that nature. So about 2 weeks, maybe three, oh my God, it's going on about 3 weeks now, maybe 2, 3 weeks, something like that. She reached out. She had been asking for a while. Like, I remember a couple times last year, she was just like, do you know of any good home care services? My parents are aging. They're living in a house behind me. I can't do all the work. Like, I had made a couple of suggestions, and then finally, I thought they were doing good. And then she reached out about 2 weeks ago, and she goes, all right, here's the deal. Like, I just want to keep you up in the loop. My dad had a stroke about a month ago. And my mom isn't doing so well. She has a a severe lung disease. It's like I don't know. It's something like
Fibromyalgia.
COP. What?
Fibromyalgia.
No, she has pulmonary something.
Somebody will
It's
correct us.
what?
Somebody will correct us.
Somebody will. It's a lung disease, but it's like more severe than COPD. So basically, it's very chronic at this point. It's manageable, but it's not curable. Okay.
Yeah.
So she was still in the hospital, and Sarah was like, we've tried some home care services. They're currently living in a senior felicity. You know, I don't trust anyone. They're not helping my mom. They've got assistant living, but like, I'm curious to know, do you have any availability to maybe come in and help my mom every now and then? And I was like, you know what? I'm like, my caseload is manageable right now. I can do it in between clients. Like, how long is she looking for? And she's like, 2 to 3 times a week, preferably 2 hours. I was like, you know what? I can fit that in. That's fine. I can make it work. So I've been doing that for the last like 2 weeks, basically. Right. And so today, her mom, who, I loved her mom ever since I first met her,
Right.
super chill, very sweet. She tells me, she's like, I feel really calm and relaxed when you're around. She's like, my anxiety is like to a minimum. I feel like I can take on the world. Like, you really do help. And I do appreciate that. And I was like, you're welcome. And she's like, so question, do you like, what is it? Gojoria, and do you like Shinedown? I was like, yeah, I love them. She's like, I thought you still liked metal music. And I was like, yeah, why? Her daughter works for Atlantic Records. She is the co-president, or the one assistant president, the one who's under,
Yeah.
of the record company. And apparently she's very close with Brent Smith, who is the lead singer of Shinedown. And as a favor or a thank you for taking care of her mom, she is going to try and get me backstage passes and a meet and greet with Brent Smith when I'm up in New York.
If you don't record this, it never happened. Just tell them all you need is 3 seconds so we can put it on you. That way we're just like, okay, cool. All right. Anyway, next. See, wasn't lying. Wasn't lying.
Right? She was like, she's like, anything you want. She was like, any band. She's like, seriously, I will get you merchandise. I will do. She was like, she's like, I can't thank you enough for helping my mom.
I
And
mean,
I was just like,
that's fucking awesome, though.
right?
You know what I mean?
I like jokingly went to her mom, and I was like, because her mom was telling me that, I was like, no, she really doesn't have to. Like, Mindy, you're family to me. Like, I love you. Like, seriously, like, you've helped me through so much. Like, when I first moved here, like,
Yeah.
I was in a relationship. I was in a serious committed relationship, and I had, the first, when we were coming over, we stayed with Mindy. Mindy allowed me in her house for 2 weeks, a complete stranger for 2 weeks. She helped make me feel comfortable. She helped me show around Pittsburgh. And then when my relationship ended, when I came home one weekend, I found him in bed with another woman. I was like, we're done. Like, we're calling this off.
Yeah.
Mindy was the one she was like, honey, she's like, if you're moving here, you're going to live with me until you can find your own place. And that's what we did. Like, I lived with Mindy for 2.5 months before I moved in with Sarah. And then from there, I moved into my own place. But like, she took me under her wing. She was like, she treated me like family, like the whole time. Then there were times like she took me out for my birthday. She would like buy me Christmas gifts. I remember at one point my car was breaking down, and I was just like, it's fine. Like, I can't afford it, but I'll take out a loan. It's okay. And she paid to get my car fixed. Like, so to me, it's like, I'm returning the favor.
In a way, it's a full circle moment.
Exactly. But she's just like, no, honey, no. She was like, if Brent Smith if you want to meet Brent Smith, it's going to happen.
Yeah, right? I mean, if that's what you want, sure. I mean, still, like, it's just, it's the thought, when you were telling me, like, I don't know, I always feel bad, like, with this, your own job, I always feel like you're the one person that I never want to be spread too thin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really are. Because, like, again, personal life, you're not trying to look for anybody. But, I always feel like you have so many irons in the fire. Like, but I mean, it, like, not in a bad way, but in a very good way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then it's like, well, here's put another one, and it's fine. But like, to a degree, like, you take it on, but it's for, like, this one's for the right reasons. Like, it's that full moment.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you're like, why the fuck? Why wouldn't I? Like, look what they did for me. Of course, in a way, I would drop some things,
Mm-hmm.
contrary to like my main job or whatever, like my main thing, like your job, like your
Right.
clients, and like that. But yeah, of course, like, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna help out family. You're gonna help out family for the right reasons.
Exactly.
So, one, again, I resort to saying again, that's fucking awesome and incredible. The connection was, and two, it is so awesome that, like, you're making the time to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And I was like, that really, like, not that I don't, but it makes me respect you more as a human being. Like, it's just
Thank
like,
you.
you know what I mean? It's like, fuck it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I feel like that's the one thing about you is like, contrary to whatever, like what we've heard or people make up or whatever
Right.
road breaks out or people fucking say about you when you're on vacation or when you're, you know what I mean? But like, you like there really is a decent human being on the other side of this fucking podcast. Like, plain and simple. I love how it always gets like misconstrued, or I'm sorry people get butthurt over the stupidest fucking reasons.
Right.
Because I don't know, there's a woman here that's bluntly honest and will tell you about yourself. Like,
Hmm.
hey, get your shit together. And then, but in contrary to that, will also like give her shirt off of her back to help out somebody
Yeah.
until they hit your brand new car.
Oh my God.
You didn't think I was not going to bring that up, did you?
I totally forgot that you even knew about that.
I saw that shit and I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. I was like, she just got this fucking.
Yes. So since buying the new car, I've always parked, like, at least tried to, when it's in a grocery store, the distance, right? So that I'm not surrounded by people, like it's the other cars, it's fine. And so I I was like, fuck it. I have to go to the Dollar Tree. I have to go pick up a couple of things before my next session. Cause like I do fun gaming activities with my kids,
Yeah.
to get them intrigued. So I was like, all right, let me go grab a couple of things. And I'm sitting there and everything was good. And I come out of the car, come out. Okay. And now, mind you, when I'm walking towards my car, I'm not facing the back of the car. I was facing the front of the car. So I immediately went to the passenger side to just put things in the back seat. And then I walked around. And as I was getting into my driver's seat, I saw it and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I couldn't. I like literally, I don't even know. Like, it's been a very stressful week. Like, everything that has happened, it's been snowballing. Like, it's supposed to be hump day, so I'm kind of hoping we're going down now
Yeah.
and it's going to be smooth. But like, I saw that shit and I wanted to cry, but then I was like, okay, so it's not as bad. It could have been worse. I have no evidence. Like, I'm like, do I even want to make a claim? Because like, how do I make a claim when you don't know who did it? What,
Right.
like,
So what they do, like side swipe you or?
I, I don't know. Like the way it
The
looks,
picture
it looks.
looks like it was like somebody just against you, like swiped against.
Yes, exactly. And that's where I was like, because like in the parking lot, you could have gone forward. So that's where I was like, it could have either been they parked too close and didn't realize how close they were and they like sideswiped as they went,
Yeah,
or they sideswiped because they were backing out and don't, how many fuckers don't know how to back out and turned too close and hit my car.
that's possible too. But this is the city where people park this fucking close to each other in the parking lot.
Yes.
Like that drives me up the fucking wall. I, I believe, yeah, there was one time. Like, I mean, there's been a couple times, but I think the one time I was coming out of a Walmart and Uh, yeah, we owned my terrain at the time, or our terrain, and we came out of the fucking Walmart, and I had no room to even
Yeah.
get to the driver's side door.
Mm-hmm.
So it pissed me off so bad. Like I took a picture of it. I think it's on probably because the OG uh, Facebook has a whole bunch of shit on it that I keep seeing in memories now, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
put it on there, but. Yeah, they were so close to the fucking terrain. I think I ended up getting in the passenger seat and getting over.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to that point with your car, like, how the fuck do you not see that? Like, how do you not see I'm this close to the car? And then if you
Like,
scrape it, leave a fucking note.
right?
Hey, will the owner of blah, 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 blah come on out here for a minute? Like, I'm sorry, I hit your car.
Mm-hmm.
No.
But people don't want to be, they don't want to be held accountable for their actions anymore. They would rather hit my car and fucking leave and be like, well, she can't figure it out. Tough shit. Like,
Right, 100%. That's how it was that day at that Walmart. If they would have parked that close to my fucking terrain, and say, God forbid, I'd have to open that door. I mean, there's no fucking way I would have got in it. I think I was with Ashley at the time. There's no way she would have fucking got in it either.
Mm-mm.
Like, there was literally like a smidgen of a room to get
Yeah.
in, so you couldn't get in there. So you're either gonna one cause a scene,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? Because you're gonna motherfuck whoever that was
Mm-hmm.
and try to get them out there. Or two, you're gonna do what I did and avoid that nonsense because what's the fucking point? And
Right.
get in the passenger seat, get in the driver's seat, and get the fuck out. But
Mm-hmm.
like with your car here, when I saw it, it reminded me when I had my Plymouth Breeze when I used way back in the day, and I worked for Rite Aid and in Lawrenceville. And I was on the edge, like the corner fucking spot. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So the only way you would hit me, like coming out, was like coming part of like the driving through the parking lot.
Yeah.
And some dickhead completely took out my entire like front end. And it's not a park, it wasn't even a parking spot. Like they just weren't fucking paying attention driving. Took out
Mm-hmm.
like my headlight, my fucking mirror. Like, yeah. And then came into the store and was like, hey, does anybody own that like purple like Breeze? And I was like, I do. Oh, well, someone hit it and just left. Oh, cool.
Mm-mm.
Cool. That's why, in a way, I would say, I don't know. That's just me now, how the world is now. And probably maybe that's how like an insurance would understand it. Like, how the fuck do you want proof? Like,
I know.
someone,
And that's
someone swiped me.
yeah. And that's where I'm like, if I make this claim, now I got to pay that deductible, which I really don't want to have to dish into my own money to pay the deductible, right?
That's true.
Now I got to risk having the rates go up over something that was out of my control, but they're not going to look at it that way.
That's the shit part too. You know what I mean? How is that our fault that somebody
Mm-hmm.
sideswiped us? Why? Because I parked in a parking lot. So you're telling
Right?
me not to park in a parking lot? Am I supposed to encase my entire vehicle and fucking
Mm-hmm.
bubble wrap before I go in somewhere?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make no sense. And like you said, it'll raise your premium or your insurance rate up
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't do it. Like that
Right?
doesn't make sense to me. I then it makes me also feel for you, like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not even gonna claim it.
Yeah.
That's how we are now. It's like, you know what? What's the point of it when it's just gonna raise my shit?
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, sure, it'll fix my car, but what's my premium gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
How
And
much my
that's where I keep weighing it out. Like, do I risk because with how this world is going right now and how financially everything is, do I risk having it go up like more than what I can afford, or do I just suck it up and deal with it that scratch on my car?
right? I mean, when Randy totaled her Jeep, this is crazy. So she totals her Jeep, completely not her fault, accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like she coughed too hard, like passed out, unfortunately, hit the telephone poles that she did, the metal poles, and car caught on fire, the car got totaled, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, her insurance dropped her, and she was with them for the longest
Yes.
time.
Who did she
I'm like, it
have? Do you
wasn't
remember?
even State Farm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, how the fuck? You know what I mean? It's not even her
It's
fault.
I had Geico. I was living in Philadelphia when this happened. I had gotten into one car accident, right? And it took them forever and a day to get my car fixed. I think it took them like 3.5 weeks to get the car fixed. So I
Really?
finally got it fixed, and I was like, okay, good. This was now what, 2 months later. Okay, I was coming home from work, and there was a car in front of me who was swerving, and I was like, he's either purposely swerving or he's under the influence,
Yeah.
right? So then I went ahead and I went to go around him. And you're talking about Philadelphia, you were talking about the city. So on the side, there was this place doing like renovations, right? And there was a giant dumpster. A dumpster. Okay. And all of a sudden, as I'm trying to go around this guy, he swerves and he's leaning right into me. But he's coming at me full force. Like, so now I'm thinking he knows
Yeah.
what the fuck he's doing. And I quickly swerved to go around him, and I slammed right into the dumpster. So now my car is like, it's not totaled, but
Damn,
it's
they're
yeah,
close.
yeah. Okay. So now I go ahead and I make a claim, and I'm like, I got this guy's license plate number. Okay.
Yeah.
I was able to get it. I was smart enough to take a picture of it when he was swerving, because I was like, I don't like what this guy's doing. Right. So I was able to get his license plate number. I call my insurance company and I go ahead, I get, everything else. The next day, the police call me and they're like, oh, so you did a hit and run? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they were like, you slammed into this guy's car and you took off. I was like, I didn't slam into that guy's car. I slammed into a dumpster. And he's like, that's not what this guy is reporting. He's stating that you hit his car. So apparently, I guess that was what, unfortunately, I was underneath what insurance fraud, like where
Yeah.
he was, trying to get me to,
Yeah.
get him to fix his car somehow with whatever. I don't know. So I had already taken pictures of my car. So I was like, I will gladly come down to the station and I will talk to you, because I got his license plate and I'll tell you exactly what happened. I'll make a report, right? Go do all that. They were even able to pull footage from the camera from the building directly adjacent
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
was, and noticed that I hit the dumpster and not him. So I thought I was in the clear. I was like, you have all the evidence that you need.
Yeah. Of
Tell me how
course.
Geico still dropped me, telling me that I had too much damage and too many claims on my car, and that
Yeah.
I was at fault for that accident.
Yeah. I don't understand why we have car insurance if we cannot fucking use it.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like for like desperate needs or desperate measures, or even like, small dings or whatnot, kind of like your scenario right now, your
Mm-hmm.
situation. Um, like poor Brandy when she got hers, like when she totaled her Jeep, like that's what it's there for. Like that's the
Exactly.
purpose of this.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, like so. But if we do like the Geico does it, that's years of
Mm-hmm.
safe driving or whatever. Okay, so what if I get a little fender bender? You're gonna drop me, but I haven't had a car wreck in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, somebody sideswipes me in a parking lot. You're gonna drop me.
Right.
Wait, what? What the fuck is happening here? Like,
Yeah.
I, it's just profound. Like the shit that I've seen with people and their insurance and what I've experienced, it's uncanny. So I get why you don't want to report that.
Yeah.
Believe me, there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if you could just kind of like look upon looking at it. I didn't know if like that's their paint on yours, like if you can like wash it
It's
off.
white paint,
Mm,
which is how I know it's a car.
yeah,
But and I'm like, but I mean, it's not dented. It's just, and it's not even, it is a deep scratch. Like that's all
yeah,
it is. It's a deep scratch. So I'm just like, I don't think I have the tools to be able to do it myself, even if I YouTubed it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll just take a picture and send it to my brother, just
Okay.
to be able to, like, can this be done without the drama?
Right.
That way, he'll be like, yeah, you just gotta be like, boom, boom, boom. It's like, cool. Copy, paste, Sam, done.
Right. All I
Like,
need.
yeah. I hate that shit, man. Because what's the point of it? Like, what's the point
Yeah.
of having insurance if you cannot fucking use it? And I think that's what still gets like me pissed off about it, because like my girlfriend could have died.
Hmm.
uh, and
And all
then
they care about is their fucking money. And it's
all
like,
they cared about
cool.
was fucking money. Like, and then like I feel so bad for her because like all her insurances was through State Farm, and then she had to go basically start all over again.
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, wow, you guys just don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
So what had happened was she totaled that car, and then somebody in her new car kind of like was running her off the road a little bit. So she kind of did like yours is scraped. Hers is
Hmm.
scraped. That's when they dropped her, because it was like so consecutive so quick. She's
Yeah.
like, well, I haven't had an accident. Like,
Hmm.
these aren't my fault.
Yeah.
And they dropped her. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that. So I'm thinking long term, don't report that.
Like I'm just sitting here, and that's the other thing too. Is like I have really bad like superstitions, and I know that with my last car, it was like every time I do a claim, something worse happens. So I'm like, I don't need anything worse happening to this car, so it's going unnoticed. Okay, like look at it, I get it.
Right.
It's there, people. It's a scar. Okay, I'm looking at it as a scar.
But the thing is that when I saw it, then I read what you wrote, and I was like, this fucking woman has a point, because 2025 is not starting out to be your year.
No,
It is not. Like, I feel like you're okay, but shit is just nitpicking at you.
I actually like saw my own therapist yesterday, and she was like, "How are you?" Because so let's put it this way: like January 1st, my best friend's fucking baby daddy
Yeah.
decided to do the wellness check. So that's how it started off in 2025. Okay, January 6th, I lost my client.
Correct.
All right, so then like it just kept snowballing, and everything just kept coming and coming and coming, and then it's getting to a point that I told her yesterday. I was like, I am so numb to everything around me now that I can't even identify an emotion of how I'm feeling.
Right.
Like everything has come at me. 2025 has not been my year. Everything has come at me to a point that literally like I'm just like, oh, that it's like so numb to it. I'm so used to it that I'm like, oh, another thing? Great. Well, okay. Well, it's like I wake up every morning now expecting something else to happen.
You're
Like
expecting more shit on top of shit.
yes. Like
Yeah.
I can't even like look forward to anything anymore because I was like, okay, what's gonna happen in between that's gonna cause me to feel like even more numb.
I can see it now. Like, say if you end up doing the crawl or whatever, and I'll be like, somebody at your car. Shut the fuck up. I'd be like, look, dude, I'm not lying to you.
Nope. Here I am going to the crawl. I did get that Saturday off. I haven't debated. I'm still debating if I want to take that Sunday off, but I have Saturday off, so I will be there.
I don't think we're like people that have experienced it. I don't really think we're gonna need Sunday.
See, that's the thing. I know that. Like, I'm not taking Sunday off for that reason. I just want to be able to have a weekend to myself, like self-care.
I mean, it's
So,
very uncommon for you.
yeah. So if I could just take the whole weekend and just be like, fuck it, this is my
Yeah,
weekend.
right. I mean, fuck it. If you're already off one day,
Exactly.
what's
So I
the
haven't
harm in
decided
having the
yet.
other?
We'll see.
Right.
But I plan on parking down by Smoky Joe's at the way end where nobody's going to be near my damn car.
Yeah. That's perfect. Because God forbid you need anything more to happen.
Right?
You just got through the first month, for God's sakes.
Uh-huh.
Like, you just got through the first month. So if anybody else is having a shitty 2025, I mean, besides the obvious of the fucking world, it is what it is. Like, I've been asked to talk about like the tariffs or whatever. I don't want to talk about. I don't discuss.
I can't. And the reason why I can't, it's not, is the fact that I'm choosing not to because this is a topic that I have to talk with my clients every day. Just yesterday alone, I had a client tell me that their cousin who's here on a working visa was deported.
Right.
And this is something that I have to process with them, something I have to work through. So for me, it's just like my old partner from years ago. I had you see how my Facebook now. I don't hold back. Okay. I'm a very
no, not at all.
okay. And I had posted something yesterday, and all of a sudden she just like she wrote a comment, and then she sends me a DM, and she was like, I'm surprised that you feel this way about the world. Okay. Jesus Christ himself chose Trump to be our savior. And I was just like, I'm about seconds away. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to think twice about this. And I blocked her. I was like, don't even contact me. Don't got time for this bullshit.
You kind of lost me at the Jesus Christ part.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yep. Right. And that's where I was like, I was just like, I don't got time. I'm not responding. You're not worth my time. So it's like, when I see what my clients are going through, like my clients are very low income. They need the assistance. They need the SNAP program. They need Medicaid. They need Medicare. And when I'm being told that that's being threatened to be taken away. I can't sit here and talk about how I'm feeling because I still want to respect everybody's views and everybody's beliefs, whether I agree with them or not.
Right. 100%.
So,
I like I just like I said in the beginning, I haven't had it like I had questions. But like some of them are like I don't host a political viewed podcast. I never will.
mm-mm.
Um we could be talking about who had the manicotti last week and somebody's fucking up your car this week. That's
Right?
how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get into this because when I made this podcast, it was more or less to deter from everything else, the
Yeah.
norm. You know what I mean? Like your Joe Rogans or like, you know, something of that nature. Or, you know, it's a straight shoot podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It could be about whatever, whenever I have anybody on, whoever I have on. Um, I have been recommended that you and I should have to listen to this podcast. It's about kids on the spectrum, and it's about how they can kind of read minds.
Okay, you've intrigued me a little bit. What's the
Yeah,
podcast?
I'll send it to you because I don't have it off the top of my head. Um, a friend of mine who listens, Kevin, and his wife Jess, he recommended it to me. Like, you know, he's like, of course, with Sam being a therapist, like this might be up your guys' alley to talk about. And I've been so caught up with the bocce and whatnot that I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had a minute to go do my research on it. So, Kevin, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. And I finally got a chance to mention it to Sam now. So, like between that and Rebecca's marathoning, Xander's
Mm-hmm.
fundraising, like it kind of picked up a little bit for me, okay, in January. So I'm like just handling my business. But I will send it to you that way you and I can just check it out a little bit, give
Yeah.
it on it. But yeah, it was saying like that they can like some I don't know if it's necessarily like nonverbal, but in a way it's like they almost can like read each other's minds on like a frequency level. It's pretty
Huh.
interesting to hear about. Like I've read the synopsis of it, but I haven't listened to it yet. I do think it got my attention, but I believe like I'm not going into it until we like both have listened to it,
Yeah.
and then we can get our views on it. But I'm gonna get into it, so I apologize, Kevin. I had a lot of shit going on, but I'm gonna get into it.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts or?
besides our own,
Yeah.
you know, I listen to wrestling podcasts, but I usually watch them.
Oh, okay.
But like, um, I try. I I personally will listen to a podcast if I'm on the road for at
Mm,
least an hour or two for the drive, like for my job, then I
yeah.
will. I'm like, all right, I mean, like, I have the time, so I
Mm-hmm.
must listen to somebody or an interview or a story. There was one about like the oddities of Pittsburgh. I
Mm-hmm.
was cool with that, finding out different things about this city, you know, just little odds and ends out of there. Um, I was intrigued by one about like ancient Egypt because I love ancient Egypt. I think it's
Ooh.
yeah.
Speaking of ancient Egypt, hold that thought. I want to show you what I got because this like intrigued me. I'll tell you the backstory of it, but I was so excited that I was able to find a miniature version. Hold that
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. Okay. Oh,
That's gorgeous.
that circuit.
Yeah. Where'd you find something like that?
Oh, my sister found it. She like so the backstory with it is growing up, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, and may she rest in peace, had a statue the size of me of Circuit.
Okay.
Okay. And we got onto the topic of it because I remember when she passed away, um, I was able to get her wedding ring because she had already said it. And, before she passed away, she was like, that goes to Samantha. She's the oldest granddaughter. Like, I want her to have it. So everybody got like a piece of my grandmother, like whether it
Okay.
was a piece of jewelry or whatever. Now, the statue I had always been intrigued with. And I had told my dad, I was like, I want the statue. And I remember my dad was like, it will be yours when you have room for it. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm 4'10". Okay. This statue is about 4'6". It is huge. Okay. And I remember when I was in college, my mom called me and she was like, please don't be mad. And I was like, what? She was like, the dog got loose. He was running around or whatever, and he slammed into the statue. It fell. The right hand broke off. I had to glue it back on. And I was like, it's fine. It's whatever. So right now my parents have it in a storage unit with other belongings of theirs, right? Just waiting. And so now my younger sister, because she's moving into a bigger house, a bigger apartment, she was like, well, I want it. And I was like, you're not fucking touching it. It's mine.
Yeah, right.
Right? So the backstory. So if you know anything about Circuit, she is the goddess of healing and disease and sickness, right?
Right.
So I went ahead and I was like, I want that fucking statue. But I don't want to have to travel to New York to pack it up to bring it here. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's big. It's 4 foot. It's fucking 4 feet, 6 inches. It's huge.
I wonder how heavy it is.
It's fucking heavy because it's made out of like gold.
Yeah.
It's massive. So I was on the phone with my sister, my middle sister, and I was like, that bitch is not taking it. It is mine. And so she goes, well, I think right now, maybe let's all leave it in the storage unit where it's safe and nobody else, we can decide at a much later date and time who gets it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, but I really want one. Like, that's the one. It was like, Nanny told me that I could have it. And so my sister was online, right? And that was her solution. She was like, I'll find you one. And the one she kept sending me did not look like Circuit. It did not look like the one that, was in my parents' storage unit. So I was just like, fuck it. And then all of a sudden my sister sent me that one. And I was like, oh my God, that's it.
I mean, it's a miniature one, but it'll do.
But like the whole, like everything down to a T, like the makeup, everything, like they have it. So that's where I was like, that is exactly the miniature version of the one my grandmother had. But my grandmother was like you. She loved everything Egypt. Like she went to Egypt so many times, like traveled there, but half the things I have from her are just the Egypt.
Oh, believe me, like it's one place I'd love to go just to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would for sure. Plus, like just I don't know, the story of King Tut is fucking crazy. Like just the odd shit that's around him. The young king, like then there's like the mystery of the tomb, and I'm like, man, if I see something on like about him or is just anything like about the gods, I'll fucking just boom, I'll put it right on and I'm into it.
Yeah.
Like I'm good for however long it is. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. But like yeah, to your point, like I dabble in a couple, but I really don't get the pleasure to listen to it. I don't even listen to ours. That's
Really?
nope.
I listen to ours.
I told Eric that way back in the day. We said something offline, and he was like, "I'm just listening to the podcast." I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Because I'm listening to it." And I was like, "But why? Like, we're doing it. We've did it."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, wait, Joe, have you not listened to your own podcast?" I was like, no. And
You're
that
like Johnny Depp. He won't watch his own movies.
dude, I must be the Johnny Depp of fucking podcasting because I've never listened to one. Not one single one. I am a Jay-Z kind of person, except not the bad kind of Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I am a one take person and I'm done. And then somebody will say something like, hey, did you know what you said here? No,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't. I really don't. I mean, I'll get texts or like messages on like socials about certain things we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And then it also makes me refresh about like what we talked about.
Right.
Because I really try not to repeat the same topics twice. But I mean, like, I've had so much go on in my life that I really don't try to touch the same subjects. I'll have similarities and like kind of like similar pathways,
Yeah.
but it's not kind of the same subject unless we're hammering one like ridiculous amounts of time because like
Mm-hmm.
nobody's getting the damn point. But to me, like That's just how it was. I think it was Brandy said it to me too. She's like, "You didn't listen to the podcast?"
Hmm.
No, honey, I recorded it. Like, I know what I talk about.
That's
So
all right.
I mean, when I, behind the scenes stuff now because
Hmm.
Eric's out of there. That's when I mess with it, and I only hear about 15 seconds of it,
Hmm.
and that's on the front end, and like now the back end. That's
Yeah.
it. And I'm like,
See,
okay,
I'll listen to this. Like, I'll listen to it on Fridays as soon as I see that you post it, that it's up there. Like, I'll listen to it. But then I'll listen to other podcasts like Crime Junkie. I don't know. Honestly, like over the years, I feel like it hasn't been as great. Um, and so I kind of listen to that when I do my progress notes because it's just in background noise.
of course, like
Um,
a TV show does the same.
yeah, it's just so that a distraction for me to stay focused.
Yep.
I'll listen to Park Predators. I'll listen to I will listen to Counterclock as because these are all like murder. I will listen to
I'm
Snapped,
well aware as you're
Dateline.
saying these names. I'm pretty sure what they were.
Yeah.
As soon as you were like, "It's this one," I was like, Samantha, who are you fucking murdering?
Well, that's the other one. My favorite murderer is a good. It's a good podcast.
I mean, I will piggyback off that because it's not necessarily podcast. I'll watch like Women of Murder or all this shit on like, dude, I am an ID channel fucking junkie.
I love ID. But real quick, and this is for any of the listeners, if you really want a good like mental health podcast that really talks about how to be able to like help you through some of your symptoms, diagnoses. And again, this, they talk about different diagnoses, they talk about the symptoms and whatever. It's called Go Unfuck Yourself. So it is, yeah,
Why didn't
go
we think
unfuck
of that?
yourself.
Man, I wanted something original like fucking 4 or 5 years ago. Like, her Cho thoughts is a great idea. Go and fuck yourself was out there. Man, fuck. That'd have been great. Man, I mean, I don't want to. I also have been slightly. I don't want people upset. I've also thought about changing the name of this podcast too.
To what?
I don't know. Not go and fuck yourself because now it's taken.
Because that's already taken.
Fuck. No, I don't know. I've thought about it because like um I now like know what to do with it, the program,
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I'm now starting to figure out things. So I'm thinking about like, logos and stuff like that. Plus up now that we're doing it off of a video,
Hmm.
I thought about like switching it up, changing it up, little format, a little bit different. Just stuff I'm thinking about like the future of the podcast. And then of
Yeah.
course, the one thing that everybody's still waiting on is the return of Big E. And I'm like, that is still TBA.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think it's nothing against, I'd say, against my new co-host. It's just like they don't know what's up with him. And
Right.
from what I know, he's okay.
Hmm.
Just going through the motions. Uh, he's fine. He'll be around soon. I mean, I talk to the guy
Hmm.
just about every other day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was thinking about just some changes into it and whatnot. But I know like faithful like listeners and viewers are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'll be like, "Well, I'm not unfucking myself." I mean, fuck, damn. If I knew that was on the cusp, oh, bro, that would be fucking great. Go unfuck yourself. No, like, what's the name of your podcast, dude? Go unfuck yourself. That's
I It
that's
really is a great podcast that talks about like different mental health, behavioral health, and it talks about like some tools and techniques that you can use to help manage those symptoms and how to really like, help yourself get through, manage your diagnosis so that you're living a healthier, positive lifestyle rather than, kind of letting these diagnoses control you.
right. Letting them fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I love it, but I fucking hate it right now because I'm like, that's a fucking good one. That's a good.
Like, where did I think of that?
I was like, yeah, but I was like living at my dad's and trying to figure out my own thing. And who would have thought this would have been an outlet? So that's so crazy that I'm fucking into this now, like where it is. So I tell everybody a million times, like, I thank everybody for listening, for watching, all of that, because like I never thought we'd be on fucking video. That's for damn sure.
Hmm.
And now look, we're on fucking video, and I'm talking about changing the format, and we're slowly. I'm slowly approaching the 100th episode of this podcast. So I'm like, fuck, like
We should do something really big for the 100th.
I I'm planning on it. I'm like, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about just random guests popping in every like whatever. Like, what's my favorite topics? What we talk about? Like, that's probably when I have to go through and listen to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be like, why did I wait so long? We're like, fuck, oh my god, we talked about this. Oh my god,
I can see you with your little notebook writing it. Oh, really?
right? We were like, especially the beginning ones where it was just audio. I'd be like,
Uh-huh.
I was in my goddamn bag, son of a bitch.
I
Like,
remember those days too. I remember when
I'll
it
be
gave
just
you
writing down. I'll
problems.
be like, why are these even on the internet? Like, oh my god. Like the one that comes to my mind still is like the harsh reality of dating apps. It's like the
Uh-huh.
one of the first three, and I was like, now looking back on, it, I'm
We're
like, damn.
we're gonna have to save that for next week because I tried dating apps recently. I think I didn't even make it 12 hours before I was like, I'm done.
Well, I mean, fuck. We're gonna pick that shit right the fuck back up, right up next week. Oh my god. But we will close it out for this week. We will pick it up with that right there. I will. But of course, as always, for Samantha and myself, it's been
Mhm.
another episode of Cho Thoughts. We will catch y'all next week. We are on every Friday, 9 a.m. We actually have a time we are on. We are on 9 a.m. on YouTube. We are on 9 a.m. on Spotify, all streaming services where you can watch it besides YouTube. Um, Amazon. Apparently, I am every fucking where now because I'm getting so much analytics.
Mhm.
I never thought I'd be getting half this shit anymore. Like, so again, you can stream us on just about anything. You can watch us on YouTube. Apparently, we are now in Germany, China, Russia, and the United States. So somebody's gonna hack this fucking show. Just
Oh,
letting you know. I'm just letting you know. So, but every episode of Cho Thoughts from here on out will be 9 a.m. every Friday, every week, unless there is a holiday episode or a holiday falls on that day, on that Friday or whatever, and like, or Samantha and I are busy, or
mhm.
somebody's out of town or something like that, then we'll work around it. But
Oh, you did that. You're like somebody.
somebody, you know what I mean? But again, I'm plus I'm gonna put it in the description too and whatnot. Every single show will premiere 9 a.m. Friday morning. So if you go onto YouTube and you'll see it like this episode, it'll pop up. I have it listed to drop every Friday, 9 a.m.
Hmm.
So don't give me no shit when you can't see it no more or don't know when it's out. 9 a.m. every Friday, every week.
Oh, I'm,
So
I'm sorry, Paul. What time was that again? I'm
it
sorry.
is it is 9 a.m. And I just want to include too, that's audio and video. All streaming happens at 9 a.m.
9
So
a.m. Eastern, Pacific, Central.
oh God Jesus. It is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my bad. That's just the way it is. But yeah, so now you know. Now we have a set time. And now you know I'm working on some other shit possibly coming. Like it's changing up some stuff. And apparently I missed it. We're close on my 100th fucking episode of my podcast. So again, for Sam and myself, we will catch y'all next week, where it'll be on
Mhm.
next Friday at 9 a.m. We'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good weekend.
Bye.